at this lion. He's the king of the jungle. Huge mane out there. He's so big, he doesn't want to move. Now, the little lion comes, they start messing with him. Biting his tail, biting his ears. He doesn't do anything. Now, the other animals, they notice this. And they start to move in. The jackals, hyenas, barking at him, laughing at him. Till one day, that lion gets up and... Jackals, whiz.
Fans, this time, would you please rise, remove your hats, as we honor our great nation with the performance of the national anthem, performed by the Proctor High School Orchestra.
This place is going crazy, huh? Jack McMullen and Richard Shaw here with you for the Eastern Division title game. This is game 2 of this series between Utica City FC and the Baltimore Blast here on the 11 Sports Network. Richard, Utica went into Baltimore and took game 1 12-9. It got really heated. There were some choice words. There were some news stories after that. And now you put it on the line. Utica with a chance to lock up the Eastern Division in front of a packed odd. Everybody's wearing white. This is crazy, man.
Well, when you look back to last summer when all this started and everyone was talking about a professional soccer team being here in the city of Utica, this is what the dream was. The dream was getting into postseason play, going for a championship. And as you say, Jack, an incredible performance by Utica in Baltimore to set up what is an incredible matchup here, and this atmosphere is unbelievable. We're having a white out here in the Adirondack Bank Center, and as you can see, before kickoff, everyone is up for it. What an incredible experience this is going to be for all the soccer fans in the area.
Well, when you did have this new arena soccer team in Utica, they moved up from Syracuse. You know, this was always the dream, but you never might have viewed it as an attainable goal. It was a good team in Syracuse, but shouldn't there be growing pains when you get to a new place, a new market, a new arena? This place has adopted arena soccer. This place has adopted Utica City FC. I mean, you heard it just a couple of weeks ago when the team's leading point getter, Slavica Ubi-Peripovic, when he signed his 2-year extension, this place went nuts. They want to see him in Utica for a long time. They want to see Utica City FC in Utica for a long time. And now in its inaugural season, they have a chance to wrap it up. David beating Goliath twice in a row.
Well, from top to bottom, everything that has been done here from day one has been exceptional. From the coaching staff to the players, obviously the back office team, the management, the directing of the whole football club has been absolutely top draw. And when you talk about fans just embracing the opportunity for professional soccer, you can hear it. I mean, look at these fans, unbelievable, and they are ready to really light up the Ord here this evening on what's doesn't seem like a Monday night, that's for sure.
This is not your typical Monday night. The 5 position players starting in front of William Vanzella, who's in cage for Baltimore. Vincius Dantas, Adriano Dos Santos, Juan Pereira, Tony Donatelli, and Jareem Raley. Donatelli fires on Andrew Coughlin, and he has no problem pawing it. The 5 on the field for Utica City FC, Ubi-Peripovic, Bordeaux, Darren Toby, and Nate Bordeaux plays it back now. Ben Raymond and the captain, Bo Yelovitz, are on.
Yeah, Baltimore straight away, knocking the ball into the corner, putting pressure on Utica. And Coughlin was very steady in his first touch of the ball, and some good service from him there as he plays the ball into the corner for Yelovitz.
Yelovitz is dangerous in the corner. Raymond couldn't get it anywhere, and now a hard pass, a little bit too hard for Dantas, but he recollects. Push from the back by Raymond, and then he resets. 45 seconds gone, no score between Utica City FC and the Baltimore Blast. Jareem Raley playing it back now. We've got Adriano Dos Santos back there. 13 goals, 10 assists as a primary defender for head coach Danny Kelly's Blast side. Newly entered Jamie Thomas. Spin zone on Gonzaga. And Thomas working along the boards. Over the mouth to goal, and a score for Baltimore. That looks like it was Andrew Hoxie, his 13th goal. He had 12 in the regular season, and he puts them on the board.
Yeah, I was just about to say Baltimore knocking the ball around with real purpose, getting the ball in the corner, and you can see they know how to play the ball in off the boards, and it was that time Hoxie in front of the goal. It falls very kindly for him, and he's certainly not going to make any mistake from there, and he knocks the ball into the roof of the net for a good start from them. And again, they find that early goal against Utica, which we saw them do in the opposite game on Saturday evening.
We've seen some really slow scoring contests between the two. I mean, just looking back at the home opener on December 2nd, that was a 5-2 win for Utica City. On December 30, there was a 6-3 win for Utica City FC as well. But that playoff game worked against the grain. There were 21 total goals. It was a 12-9 win for UCFC this past Saturday, April 20th.
Yeah, certainly lots of goals in that last game. And to be honest, Jack, I think the dimensions of the field in Baltimore plays a massive role in that. That field is much smaller, so you tend to see a lot more goal mouth action, even though we've seen lots of that here in Utica as well. But I think that certainly creates for more entertainment in times of in front of the goal and you know, on the back and forth nature of the game.
We'll get a restart from the corner for Utica City FC. The wall building. Darren Toby going to take it now. Toby pushing it back. Salas with a left. It bounces off a Baltimore defender, and it's a tie game. Sometimes you just got to put it on goal and see what happens. Mauricio Salas knocks us at one, less than 2 minutes in.
Yeah, he's at it again. He's been on absolutely an amazing streak, finding the back of the net, and he wastes no time here, getting Utica back on level terms. puts it on goal. Of course, a fortunate deflection in favor of Utica, but I tell you what, these fans don't care as long as that ball goes in the back of the net.
You think he wants to beat the Baltimore Blast? He had 4 goals on Saturday. Now he gets it started less than 2 minutes into this game.
And you need your big players stepping up, and he's doing that.
This place went nuts when that goal went in. Adriano Dos Santos starts with it for Baltimore. Under 13 minutes to go. Dos Santos puts it on the mouth of goal again. You talked about Baltimore being conducive to high-scoring games. In Utica, you haven't seen those aggressively high-scoring games. Is the odd conducive to low-scoring games? Is it a little bit more spread out? Or is it just the type of game that Ryan Hall and this UCFC team likes to push?
Yeah, I think, we've seen a number of times where Utica have really done a good job defensively, keeping the score down, etc. But we know they love to go forward in the hunt of putting lots of balls into the back of the net, and I think we're going to see an exciting game back and forth. That time, just before Utica picked up possession, Donatelli, all he needed to do was get a touch on the ball, and that would have been 2-1 Baltimore. So here we go again in front of the box, but Baltimore able to break away now.
Baltimore's on the run. That's Jareem Raley. He cuts back. Gonzaga with tight defense along the boards, and Gonzaga wins it, no problem for City. Gonzaga pushed to the turf, no foul. One back Donatelli in the blast.
Yeah, that time Dos Santos using his strength just to shield Gonzaga off the ball. Gonzaga with excellent defensive work prior to that.
Oxy, the goal scorer today. A foul in the corner. We got a blast player down. (2-1) Baltimore over Utica City FC right now. We are almost at the end of the first quarter of action in Game 2 of the Eastern Division Championship Series. Jack McMullen and Richard Shaw back with you. And this is an unbelievable environment right now, but the offense has reigned supreme on both sides, really. A lot of scoring opportunities. Baltimore converting, well, twice as much as Utica City is.
Yeah, and when you look at the chances, that's really all you saw was the 2 moments where the ball ricochets off the board, sits up nicely. Hoxley puts it in. And then again where, you got Salas's goal, kind deflection, and then again another ball coming into the corner. Baltimore using that method really well. They know how to get the ball forward quickly, and they'll keep looking to press and do that here throughout the whole evening, one imagines.
Jake Schindler trying to manufacture something. Into the corner, Freddie Mugin. He put a shot on cage that was deflected by Steven DeRue, but went a little bit left. Did not contest William Vanzella, one of the premier goalkeepers in the MASL. William Vanzella has been unbelievable in cage so far for the Blast this season. In the regular season, he had a save percentage over 75% and allowed just over 4 goals per game. That is incredible given the offensive game and his home field. Baltimore is really conducive to high-scoring games.
Yeah, you know, again, those field dimensions coming into the fray.
We're going to get a handball on Adriano Dos Santos. Logan Roberts stuck his paw up immediately and said, "Where is it?" And now we get a top-of-the-arc restart.
Yeah, this is a real good opportunity, and if there's one thing we saw in Baltimore, it was the product that came from the set plays. Utica were on absolute fire in that regard, and what a great opportunity now to level things up here at the Ord.
Lucio Gonzaga off to Mugin. He misses on the corner. Vitali resets back to Mugin. What can he do? That was a great opportunity for Freddie Mugin. He just sent a little bit haywire.
Yeah, you could see just trying to guide it into that far corner, but just gets it a little bit wide of the mark. But again, promising quick free kick from Utica. As we see it, he shifts it nicely, good pace on the ball, and Mugin just trying to bend it in. But Baltimore on the back foot a little bit here now as Utica push forward to try and get that equalizer before the end of the quarter.
They look content to take the next 77 seconds and change. Utica in hopes to tie with the Baltimore Blast. UCFC leads this series 1-0. This is game 2 in a best of 3, the Eastern Division Championship Series with the Baltimore Blast. Ubi Paripovic into the middle, intercepted by Hoxie. What can number 4 in black and red do? He goes to the turf, he's stopped, and Darren Toby has it no problem for City. Ben Raymond has gotten a lot of run in the early goings of this game, mostly because Baltimore has spent the majority of this first quarter in the attacking half. Joey Tavernisi with some bumps, he goes down, and it'll be Utica possession.
An excellent spell of pressure from Utica over the last few minutes. The question is, can they produce an end product with just 28 seconds on the clock?
Ubi Paripovic puts it on Cage. It went high. There were a lot of hands in the air.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked as if Joey Tavernisi was doing his Diego Maradona impression in front of the, I think he's about the same size as Diego Maradona. So
Maradona may have a little bit more beef on him than Tavernisi
And
did.
to be fair, I know Tavernisi's got a few inches as well on Maradona. But it's close. It looked the same.
Ubi Paripovic off boards. It was around Vanzella. Looks like Hoxie might have gotten a hand on that too, but nothing from either call. Guernsey skies to use his noggin. Schindler forward, Hoxie with a bad touch. With Guernsey in the blast, reset, quickly intercepted by Gonzaga. Now watch them run. Lucio Gonzaga off glass. Snared down by Vanzella. That takes us to the end of the first quarter. Baltimore early with a hard lead, 2-1 over Utica City FC.
Dunkin' is committed to supporting the community and will donate £1 of coffee to the food bank of Central New York for every goal scored at home this season. 86 goals so far. America runs on Dunkin'. Fans, if you take a look up on the big screen, you will see some of Utica City FC fans of the year. The Shareline Group of Wells Fargo Advisors is proud to sponsor Utica City FC. Our team advisors are here to help you succeed, whether your plans are for the short-term investment or to plan all the way to retirement. Wells Fargo is here to help guide you to achieve your goals. Get in on today's 50-50 benefiting the Save the Day Foundation. Winner receives half the amount while the other half goes directly to charity. Spend $20, you receive 100 tickets. Buy your tickets along the concourse from any of the sellers wearing the neon green shirts. Word will be announced in the fourth quarter.
Back in the yard, and a 2-1 lead for the Baltimore Blast over Utica City FC in Game 2 of the Eastern Division Championship Series. Jack McMullen, Richard Shaw back with you. Richard, what did you see from Baltimore in specific in that first quarter? They jumped out to an early lead.
Well, I think we saw them start with a great intensity. They were pressuring very high up the field, giving Utica not much time on the ball at all. And I think from that, when they did win it, they got the ball forward quickly. And as we see, they do like to clip it into the corners early, looking to maybe find that second ball and try and create an opportunity. And if they do win that ball in there, they certainly have no problem just playing it across the boards in front of the goal, because that can be very beneficial, as we saw with the Hoxie goal.
The 5 on the field for Utica City FC to begin this second quarter. It'll be Paripovic, Yelovitz, Bordeaux, Raymond, and Jake Schindler. Long toss forward from William Van Zella, but intercepted by Utica City. It'll be Paripovic, plays it forward to Bordeaux. What can he do? Nate Bordeaux had a nice game in Game 1. He got a goal to put on the stat sheet, but he was pretty much doing everything for this UCFC team. He's the only guy on this roster to play all 24 regular season games. Talk about Mr. Consistent.
Yeah, and taking care of his body is the key to a long season. As that time, two of the big lads meeting in the middle of the field, Yelovitz and Dos Santos coming together.
It was his headband that flew off, was Adriano Dos Santos. Bo Yelovitz and Dos Santos, you don't want to get in the way of that. Yelovitz is 6'3" and has a lot of muscle on him. Dos Santos, similar height and maybe a little bit thicker.
Yeah, a good battle between those two. That's what we want to see. Some physical presence out there from both teams, and you know, you got a good mixture of skill and finesse, but you also want to see that raw grit and determination, especially in a spicy encounter like this.
I like that word to describe this encounter. Over a minute gone in this second quarter. Andrew Coughlin plays it forward to Mujin. Couldn't get it over the head of Dos Santos, but Daru has a chance to trigger something. Daru being pressed on. Gonzaga at the top, faked with the left. When he went right, he went left, no, and he couldn't get his rebound. Picked up by Jamie Thomas, and watched the blast go. He's got the foot skills to do it. Feed over to Rayleigh, pushed along the boards by Callahan. A whistle, a trip, an advantage blast. From our vantage point, Liam Callahan definitely got ankle tied up with Jareem Rayleigh. A lot of the faithful here didn't necessarily see it, though.
Yeah, I think the referees have done a good job of not getting tempted to just give cards out for the sake of it. There have been some moments where players have come together, but nothing worthy of a card from a neutral perspective, I would think. But as you said, this home support here always going to be behind Utica and on their side, especially when the decisions start having to happen.
In a game between Utica City and Baltimore, if you're a trigger-happy referee, you are going to have everybody from both sides in the penalty box on blue cards in a really quick time.
Yeah, and again, when you get to moments like this, referees are going to need to step in. They're going to need to make decisions, but you need those decisions to be spot on.
And they have to be a little bit lenient in a sense, where maybe you let some things fly in terms of jawing and in terms of talking that you don't necessarily let fly in the regular season, because emotions are just running a little bit higher. It's been stop and start to begin this second quarter of action here at the Odd between Baltimore and Utica City FC. Got a whiteout at the Odd. There you saw the foul against Joey Tavernisi. And Upi Paripovic gonna trigger. For City, what can he do with the left? He puts it on hard, off glass. Callahan gets it back. What can Liam Callahan start? Upi Paripovic playing back. Interesting from him. Intercepted by Hoxie, he puts it on goal. No one was back there. Baltimore, 3-1 over City.
Yeah, that time, Ubi Paripovic just getting caught slightly in possession. And the empty net was just there, as it's easy for him to roll it in and make the score 3-1. And, you know, sometimes mistakes are going to happen, but you really don't want to see them in moments like this where everything's on the line. The good news for Utica is it's very early in the game, and we've seen them time and time again be a couple goals down and always find a way back, and they're going to need to get their stuff together to make that happen again here.
What stuff do they need to get together?
Well, I think they're just going to be a bit quicker getting forward in numbers and just minimize any of those types of errors and mistakes. You can't afford to switch off. And I think when you start moving the ball quickly, naturally, good things happen. Things open up. And right now it's, I think, a case where Utica haven't displayed what they're truly capable of yet.
It's moving a little bit more slowly than you've come to expect from Utica City, and this is a team that can work symphonically in transition and put on a good shot. They can also strike from deep. They haven't done either so far today.
Yeah, again, it's good play from Toby there defensively as he tries to get forward with speed.
What can Darren Toby do?
Well, you know, he's just got great composure. We talked about it leading up to the playoffs about how important his experience and his ability to stay relaxed in situations and on occasions like this. And you saw it that time as he not only won the ball but brought it up for his team.
Nate Bordeaux feed off Raymond. Freddie Mugin in the corner with Dos Santos. 11.5 to go in the second quarter. 3-1 blast over Utica City. Freddie Mugin to Mauricio Salas, the lone goal scorer in today's game for City. Then Raymond plays it back to Coughlin because he dribbled into danger and he had no idea where else to go with it. Callahan off boards to a cutting Ubi Paripovic. What can he manufacture? Can he cut the deficit to 1? Under 11 minutes to go in the first half.
Yeah, Ubi Paripovic there talking to the referee. He's certainly going to try and make amends for his earlier error. And if anyone's allowed to make a mistake, it's him. The amount of assists and goals he's had this season has been phenomenal.
The guy leads his team in goals. He also leads his team in assists. That means by transitive property that he leads this team in points. A whistle on Dos Santos.
Get some t-shirts, guys. Make some noise. The guys on the field need us. Let's go, Utica!
Back to the yard and a 4-1 lead for Baltimore. This could quickly become 4-2 now with this set piece for Liam Callahan. Now Lucio Gonzaga, now Freddie Mugin. No dice. Jack McMullen and Richard Shaw back with you.
Yeah, good defending again from Baltimore. They've really done a good job in this first half of keeping it tight and blocking shots, and I think that is proven by what's on the board in terms of shots on goal for Utica.
With 1:44 to go, Utica City can restart. What can the blue and white do in front of the home crowd? It rolls to William Vanzella, and he heaves it to the heavens. Schindler plays it back. What can Coughlin do? An open cage and a whistle. That's a blue card on Ben Raymond. Mohamed Injai down. He had a trio of goals and 4 assists in the regular season. He was staring. Goal number 4 in the hole in the first goal of the postseason in the face. Andrew Coughlin brought him down with it, and now he's having a conversation with him. Hey fans, outside of being on the team, the best way to know what's happening in the MASL is to tune in to Kick This. Every weekend, Soccer Sam discusses the ins and outs of all the MASL action. Find Kick This every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern on iHeartRadio. Here we go. A chance to make it 5-1 for Vincius Dantas against Andrew Coughlin. They will get set with $1:17 to go. Here goes Dantas. Coughlin's got his heels on the cage. He's bouncing around. What can Vincius Dantas do? Can he make it 5-1? Bangs it home, top right corner. Baltimore's up 4. It's still early. The half still says number 1. But a 4-goal deficit for Utica City FC is a lot, especially given the defensive juggernaut that is the Baltimore Blast. And fans, you're watching Utica City FC soccer on the 11 Sports Network. We're live on 11 Sports, AT&T Uverse, Comcast, Xfinity, DirecTV, and stream on Twitch. Thank you for watching, regardless of what avenue you're on. Also, get the latest news on the MASL and your favorite teams. Make sure you're following MASL Soccer on Facebook and Instagram. And how about at MASL Arena on Twitter. Under a minute to go in this first half. A 5-1 lead for the Baltimore Blast over Utica City FC in Game 2 of the Eastern Division Championship Series. A roller to Andrew Coughlin. He fields no problem with 40 seconds to go in this half. If Baltimore holds on to win this game, then we immediately go into a 15-minute mini game to decide the Eastern Division champion. Utica City, well, they won it, and there will be a banner going up in the rafters here at the Odd. For regular season-wise, always just feels better in the postseason, though. 10 seconds to work. Can UCFC cut the deficit to 3? 10 now, Gonzaga back, Coughlin 5. He's got to put a missile on cage. Andrew Coughlin, heave up. Vanzella fists on, and that brings us to halftime. 5-1, Baltimore over Utica City FC in Game 2 of the Eastern Division Championship Series. Richard Shaw is standing by with Nate Bordeaux.
City FC is trailing the Baltimore Blast 5-1. At this time, we're going to kick it down to the field with Richard Shaw for the halftime interview. Richard.
Thank you, guys. Nate, obviously not the best of first halves. I'm sure you're a bit disappointed. What do we need to put right?
Yeah, you know, we came out not the way we wanted to, but the way I know this team and the way I know this crowd will back us, we'll fix things in the second half and come out right.
What have Baltimore, in your opinion, done to try and foil you, but also what can you do to, really get at them in the second half?
I don't think it's so much Baltimore. I think it's just us making self-inflicted mistakes that we'll correct at halftime and come out and give the crowd the show they want in the second half.
Fans get behind you, everything will be right.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you. Cheers, Nate.
5-1, Baltimore over Utica City FC. We'll step aside for a second, recap the first half. On the other side, you're watching Utica City FC and the Baltimore Blast right here on the 11 Sports Network.
Utica goal is to develop girls and boys at the youth level through the world's greatest game and continue growing right here in Utica, New York. SDA continues to update and improve their coaching techniques in order to adapt the changes in the game. SDA always offers equal opportunities and the best players of the game. We'd like to congratulate the 04 girls who participated in this year's National League.
Have certainly come ready for this match. You could see it straight from the first minute as they went for it. Not only offensively, but from a defensive perspective, they got bodies back behind the ball that were very organized, and they gave Utica no space whatsoever. And I think that's why Utica have really struggled to trouble the Baltimore goalkeeper within that first half.
Well, the guy that really stood out, Andrew Hoxie, he had a first half hat trick. The guy was held scoreless in that 12-9 loss to Utica City on Saturday at Baltimore. That's what gave Utica City that 1-0 series advantage here. But it's the Andrew Hoxie show, and Utica can't do much offensively at all. They're stagnant right now.
Yeah, his movement off the ball has been extremely good, but he certainly knows how to find the right places to be in the final third, and when he gets on the edge of it, he just makes no mistake putting the ball in the back of the net and punishing Utica for any type of mistake they've made.
The discipline wasn't necessarily there either. You saw the 5th goal for Baltimore coming on a Vincius Dantas goal. That was a PK. And that was his first goal of that day, his 5th. Now check that, his 3rd in the series thus far. That brought us to a 5-1 lead. The only goal for Utica City was Mauricio Salas. That was his 5th of the series, his first today. We'll step aside, a look at the highlights on the other side on the 11 Sports Network.
Fans, if you look up, feeling lucky, don't forget to take your shot at the 50-50 drawing benefiting the Save the Team Foundation. Will receives half the pot, while the other half goes directly to charity. If you spend 20, you get 100 tickets. Buy your tickets along with concourse from any of the sellers wearing the neon green shirts. Winner will be announced in the 4th quarter. The Shoreline Group of Wells Fargo Advisors is proud to sponsor Utica City FC. Our team of advisors are here to help you succeed. Whether your plans are for the short-term investment or to plan all the way to retirement, Wells Fargo is here to help guide you to achieve your goals. One of these Utica City FC history? Then stick around after tonight's game for a post-game jersey auction. We will have live auction the full roster of black Utica City FC jerseys to the highest bidder. Get your jersey signed and take a picture of the player on the field. Any interested bidders must head to the beer garden immediately following the conclusion of tonight's game. And they're off! 72 Tavern is the only place to catch the 2019 Kentucky Derby. Make your reservation early on open table and receive a commemorative Derby Cup. Enjoy mid-June specials while you watch the most exciting 2 minutes in sports on our 160-inch LED video wall. Sports spots are limited, so reserve yours today. Fans, while we're getting social today, text the picture the hashtag UCFCB. You might see yourself on Utica City FC's website, social media, or up on the video boards. Graduation, wedding, bridal shower, birthday party. The Catering Club wants to help. The Catering Club is Utica's newest catering arm that entails 72 Tavern, Babes, Aquafino, and Cookies Q. We will come to you and cater any size event throughout the Mohawk Valley. Unbeatable prices, great service, and widest array of food options that you can find anywhere. Summer is around the corner, and so are Utica City FC's soccer camps. We offer both half-day and full-day camps throughout the summer. All camps are taught by the players from Utica City FC. Space is limited. Get to uticacity.fc.com or visit the box office for more information. Fans, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Give us a like on Facebook to stay updated in all Utica City FC news and events.
Back at the yard on a 5-1 deficit for Utica City FC behind the Baltimore Blast. Jack McMullen and Richard Shaw back with you. We're about 6 minutes from the second half commencing. But for now, let's take a look at the highlights. And this was all Baltimore early. There was a shot on immediately. Andrew Coughlin had no problem dealing with it, but then the floodgates just started to open.
Yeah, it was Utica kind of found themselves on the back foot after the Salas equalizing goal. That was kind of their only interest in terms of scoring goals. As you rightly said, Jack, Baltimore just threw everything at it, and Hoxie was just on fire. That time Donatelli there sticking it in, but a mistake from Ubi Parapovic leaving the empty net there. Certainly a painful way to concede a goal. But then again, another ball just clipped into the corner and put on goal, and again it's falling kindly for Hoxie.
Hoxie just found a way, and you see the PK now by Vincius Dantas. He net it no problem. They had their chances, and Baltimore capitalized. 7-1 in the shots on goal department. Incredible for Baltimore.
Yeah, and when you look at the scoreline, as you said, it's consistent finishing. It's not only a case of creating opportunities, but when you're scoring 5 out of the 7 shots on target, that really tells you the tale of the clinical nature of their finishing. And you know, we saw Utica put the ball in the net several times in game 1. They're really going to have to do something special in this second half.
It was a 7-1 shots on goal advantage for Baltimore, and it's a 5-1 goal advantage for the Blast over Utica City FC, fighting for a date on Sunday at 3 with Milwaukee in Milwaukee. Keep it locked, second half coming on the 11 Sports Network.
This is the time to take a fellowship training member of the sports medicine team at Syracuse Orthopedic Specialists. I have access to 27 partners who are dedicated to sports medicine, work-related, and recreational injuries. That's the power of SOS. Trained physicians committed to helping you heal, getting back to regular activities as quickly as possible. Find out what SOS sports medicine can do for you. See SOS members can be trained today. Call 251-4100. That's 251-4100.
Back on the 11 Sports Network, Baltimore taking a 5-1 lead over Utica City FC into the second half. Jack McMullen and Richard Shaw back with you. And Richard, Utica has 4 goals to get back and then some if they want to date with the Milwaukee Wave.
Yeah, and you know, they really need to start the second half in a much better fashion than what we saw them play throughout the duration of that first half. It's going to be a case of just concentrating on getting the first goal, I think, to lift themselves, build some confidence. And again, this crowd have been absolutely amazing. Never in need of wanting. They're cheering regardless of the scoreline. They're getting behind their team, and certainly the UCFC players are going to be needing their support throughout this second half.
How about this? Shots, 11-4, Baltimore advantage. Shots on goal, 7-1, Baltimore advantage. That leads to a 5-1 Blast lead. It's simple math there. The more shots you put on, the more shots you put on cage, they're going to go in.
Yeah, and especially the way that Baltimore have put pressure on not only Coughlin but the UCFC defense with their ability to get the ball forward fast and just put it in dangerous areas.
Played immediately forward to Vincius Dantas, who net the 5th goal for the Blast, the 6th overall, and the first of his day today. It was a PK. He went upper right 90 on Andrew Coughlin. Well, 30 minutes separate the Blast and Utica City FC from a winner-take-all mini game. It'll be 15 minutes continuous. It's not golden goal. So whoever's leading after the end of those 15 minutes is going to win the Eastern Division.
Yeah, and I'm sure Ryan Hall, when he was coming into this one, he certainly didn't want to be relying on a 15-minute mini game.
Absolutely not. That's heart-wrenching. That is gut-wrenching. Juan Pereira back with it at midfield. Andrew Hoxie trots back on. He had a hat trick in the first half. Can he make it 4, 5, 6? It's like LeBron James at his Miami Heat opening ceremony type thing, his opening speech. The not 1, not 2 when referring to his NBA titles.
Again, Baltimore just clipping things in the corner, causing problems for Utica as Hoxie works very hard using his physical presence up there. And you see them just pick the second ball up. And when they do, they have a little bit of space to get those shots off, and that's what we've seen throughout the first half. But here's an opportunity now for Utica to capitalize.
You've got that power play opportunity. A blue card issued against the Blast. Lucio Gonzaga went down. He went down with a thud. And Mike Diesel going to go to the bin. Well, this is the first life you've heard injected into the odd in quite a while. Even at the beginning of this third quarter, the first 2 minutes were spent entirely in Baltimore's attacking half. But now Utica City has a chance to trigger and go 5-on-4 for a little bit.
Yeah, and we saw again in game one, they were very ruthless in their approach. Not only on set pieces, but anytime they were having a situation where there was a numerical advantage, and if ever there was a big moment to score, it's right now in game 2, trailing 5-1.
It's a tough turnover on Freddie Mujin, who sent it way high. And it singed the net. Now Will Vanzella whistles it in. He tosses it way deep in an attempt to clear, similar to how you do in the Utica Comets game here. You dump it off. But Utica back with it. They have the advantage for another minute and 30 seconds. Mujin hard. Vanzella, no. Will Vanzella. That guy came to play today, huh?
And as you see here, this ball goes nicely out wide. Again, a shot on goal. And Tavernisi just trying to just flick it over the line, and the goalkeeper doing extremely well. And you could see, obviously, the amount of pressure he's putting onto the ground there as
he ripped up the carpet. He didn't rip it up. I mean, they're Velcroing it back in. Nothing like modern technology, huh, with the Velcro?
Yeah,
do your kids have the Velcro shoes?
They do.
They do?
Yes, that's it.
I saw you pulled some socks out of your backpack pregame. That's big.
Yeah.
Is that life of a father?
That is, yeah. Two young lads.
I like that.
Who I'm sure would love being here, but with it being an evening game, it's certainly going to
on a Monday
go
too.
into their sleeping time. But yeah, you know, you look at the work that's been done here at the Adirondack Bank Center. The team here who get the events ready and lay the turf just to get them ready for these fans to be able to come in and enjoy it. They've been phenomenal this season.
Incredible, and they're the unsung heroes too. You hear our voice all the time on these games. You don't hear a lot of other people's voices. Really, who you associate with this team are the players, the coaches, and that might be it, but there are so many other facets working into this game day experience at the Yacht. It's incredible. Freddie Mugin hard on Darren Toby with the left. And that got his hand, but it was unintentional, so now they keep going. They still have 30 seconds on it. Mugin hard again, no, and it'll be Perry Povich back out.
Yeah, 30 big seconds here. Can they make a difference?
Gonzaga off Mugin. Gonzaga hard, Vanzella with a paw on it. Dos Santos and Mugin, they only have 15 seconds to kill with it. A whistle, and it could be UCFC ball on the restart. Yeah, it looks like Baltimore.
And you know, you look at the work from the goalkeeper, just ready to pounce on anything. This is a great shot, but an even better save as he gets down low.
In Utica, it's 5-2. Baltimore over Utica. Jack McMullen and Richard Shaw back with you. 5:05 to go in this third quarter, and then another 15 to decide who takes game 2 of the Eastern Division Championship Series. If Baltimore does, then we go to a 15-minute minigame for game 3 and to decide who takes on the Milwaukee Wave. Logan Roberts churning downfield for Utica City. He gets some room. Logan Roberts. And the right hand of William Vanzella has continued to work incessantly this evening. It's not going to let up soon.
No, Baltimore not only doing great things defensively, but the likes of Donatelli, Hoxie, Dantas have been moving the ball really fast as Diesel drives forward with the ball, 3 versus 2.
Now it's Hoxie. This is dangerous. Coughlin went out there to meet him.
Yeah, great stop from Coughlin. Kept his eye on the ball. Important block. As you see, Diesel drives it forward, plays it outside there to the right side, and again, Coughlin just equal to it. And this will be a great opportunity now for Utica in the corner as Tavernisi is brought down.
Tavernisi went down pretty hard in the far corner. So Lucio Gonzaga will re-trigger. The wall is made up of 2. And a nice spread of Utica City around the perimeter. Will Gonzaga play it out? He's got an open Ben Raymond if he can fit it through that angle.
Yeah, and Jack, this is what they, again, were doing really well in game 1, finding the right opportunity, making the right decisions and being very clinical in these positions.
Gonzaga chip inside. Vitale calms it down to Callahan. Callahan struggled with the fine footwork, but the fine motor skills have taken a nice back seat to the main motor skills. That guy is pushing and shoving his way to a productive game for Utica City. You got a job, do it, right?
Absolutely, and when you look at the job that Coughlin's done back there, a lot of the goals he wasn't able to do much about.
Ben Raymond! No! That was pinballing around point blank range and nothing cooking.
Yeah, as close as you can get without scoring, that's for sure.
Hard shove down from Pereira on Gonzaga.
Yeah, you see here this ball again, when it's played fast into dangerous areas, it's causing Baltimore problems.
Gonzaga tried to see a cutting Raymond, couldn't do it. Boyelovitz at midfield, back to Darren Toby. He is fantastic at catalyzing the offense and being the fire starter. And Bo is fantastic at doing just that, backing down. He's had a really quiet game so far.
Yeah, we've talked about the decision making of the referees being pretty solid and consistent. That time, Yelovets had every right to go for the ball, and you can see the direction and motion that the ball went in. He clearly got a piece of it. That's not a foul in my book. But I think the referees have done a good job, especially as things are starting to heat up, Jack.
2.5 to play in the third period of action now. Baltimore with a 3-goal lead. Feed to Unatis Mello, nice save by Andrew Coughlin. That was a really athletic move from number 22.
Yeah, as you can see, great hold-up play here from Baltimore. Perfect setup. Callahan tries to dive to stop the initial shot, but it was going to be Coughlin that needed to be equal to it, and that was a great save from him, and he was quickly up for the rebound.
Vincius Dantas feed over to Unatis Mello. Andrew Coughlin there to corral. If you're just joining us, it was all Baltimore early. They jumped out to a 5-1 lead. Slavisa Ubiparipovic got Utica City FC back on the scoreboard. That brings us to the 3-goal deficit for City that we have now with $1:15 to go in the third quarter of Game 2 of the Eastern Division Championship Series between Utica City FC and the Baltimore Blast. Time for Freddie Mugin to make some magic. Can he? Off board to an open Daru with the left. Knuckleball, no. Jake Schindler, really hard, really high.
Yeah, quick changes from both teams there. Hoxie on that far side was open. And you could see that ball going into him immediately. But fortunately, Callahan was there working hard for Utica to get behind the ball and put pressure on it.
Intercepted by Tony Donatelli. And we got 15 seconds in this third quarter between Utica City FC and Baltimore. Can the Blast set something up right now? They look content taking this to the bench. A 3-goal lead for Baltimore over Utica City FC in Game 2.
Fans, please turn your Springs Collision is the official collision center of Utica City FC.
Alright guys, we have plenty of game left, so I want everyone to
and advisors are here to help you succeed. Whether your plans are for the short-term investment or to plan all the way to retirement, Wells Fargo is here to help you, guide you to achieve your goals.
Hey fans, Utica City FC would like to thank Mitre USA for providing today's match balls. Mitre, founded in Huddersfield, England, is among the world's oldest sporting goods brands, starting production in 1817. Mitre is a proud partner of Major Arena Soccer League, providing arena-specific match balls to both the MASL and MASL2. Also, the MASL and Mitre share a long-term vision to see arena soccer grow in North America. Mitre's Astro Division ball is the official game ball for MASL League play. Mitre's Astro Division is designed specifically for play on artificial surfaces. It features a more accurate flight than the average ball and has a 30% reduced bounce to make it play more efficiently in arena soccer. Jack McMullen and Richard Shaw back with you. A 3-goal deficit for Utica City FC behind the blast. Richard, if you're Ryan Hall, take us back in the Wayback Machine and say exactly what you think he said 2 minutes ago.
I say he's probably turned around and said, look, we've done much better in that last quarter than what we saw in the first half. That's a positive. We won that quarter 1-0. That's a positive. Now, if we get the next goal, that's going to be another positive, and I think we can go on and win it if we do. Because we've seen this Utica side. They've come back from situations like this time and time again. This is what the MASL is all about. The margins that we've spoke at length about game after game are very fine, and keeping your head, being resilient when you're faced with a 3-goal deficit that's against you is often the difference. And if you want to win a championship, Jack, you've got to be able to sort this kind of thing out and turn it around, and Utica showed great signs of doing that in that third quarter.
The thing about the MASL is that these are really high-scoring games. These can, accumulate goals really quickly. Bo Yelovitz cannot accumulate the first for Utica City in this fourth quarter. They need 3 to match, 4 to win. And some bangs on the boards and a blue card out. Looks like it's going to be on Slavisa Ubi-Paripovic.
See, these are really tough situations to evaluate, to be honest. And when you see 2 players going in, and obviously Slav's got a right to try and get his body in and just protect the ball. If anything, it's a 50-50, but because the boards are there, it makes the decision a little more intense. And the blue card for me has come out way too fast. And now UCFC are really in a tough spot where, you could argue that if they don't keep the blast out in the next 2 minutes, then it could be really difficult to get back into this game, and we're probably going to see a 15-minute mini game as a consequence.
So number 99 in white going to go think about what he's done for 2 minutes. Power play on for the Blast. You've got Baltimore restarting. William Vanzella is going to come all the way up and deal with it so you can pack the box if you're Baltimore.
So you look at Donatelli now. He's going to work this ball up. Dos Santos will stay central. Huxley likes to be on that right-hand side. We've seen him score many goals from that position this season.
There he is on that right side off boards. Pacified by Darren Toby. Here's Hoxie again. What can he do? Playback Mello, who has had a very effective day in the playmaker role so far this evening. And that kicks off Hoxie's heel. Andrew Coughlin high to the sky. "13 minutes left in game 2. Baltimore with a 3-goal lead."
Yeah, 1 more minute to survive here for Utica. Keep the score the way it is. It's not going to be easy. Baltimore using the ball really well at the moment, knocking it about fast.
Donatelli on the ground to Mello. Dantas hard by Toby. Great job from Darren Toby standing in front of that. You have to be okay with getting smacked hard in the torso or the face.
Yeah, he's been excellent. Darren Toby again in this game.
You know, it's just Mello winds up. Now Andrew Hoxie across the mouth of the goal, nothing.
Yeah, fortunately for Utica, Dos Santos getting in the way of that shot that certainly looked goal-bound.
Donatelli to Dantas, a little bit too far right. Yanked back down by Mello, 20 on the power play clock. Dantas with a run. No, Dos Santos soft. If hard doesn't work time and time again, sometimes soft wins it. Adriano Dos Santos hopped up on the boards, flashed the money sign.
I'll tell you this, Utica did a great job of keeping them out until only a few seconds left. It really was agonizing for them. So we talked about how important that power play could be, and at 6-2 now, the Blast are really in control of this second game in the playoff situation. Looks like it's going to go into the mini game at this moment in time.
Well, the good news for Ryan Hall and Utica City FC is that they went on the road and took that game from Baltimore, so they afforded themselves the chance at a mini game. If that game went differently, at home field for the Blast, we're looking at a totally different scenario. You're slamming the panic button. Now you look at it and say, okay, we just got to win the first quarter right after this.
Yeah, and you know, and not to jump the gun or anything, but at this moment in time, Utica's still well in range to get back into it. They just can't concede anymore, one feels. And Dantas seems to be penalized there. But you know, you do ask the question, in these unique circumstances, let's say the scoreline kind of stays the way it is as the time ticks along, or let's say even say the Blast just keep control of things the way they are. Does Coach Ryan Hall just look to keep his top guys, you know, healthy and rested for the mini game?
Does he look to game 3? And now the question also is, does Danny Kelly do the same thing?
On to the next round. So stick around right after this game in the instance that that happens. After that mini game, we're doing a post-game live jersey auction with our black jerseys. So if you want a piece of Utica City FC history, head to the beer garden immediately following the conclusion of the game, where you'll be able to bid on the entire roster. But this game is not over yet, so I want you guys to get on your feet and wave those towels and cheer on our boys.
Sing it. Maybe not. Utica City down 4 to the Baltimore Blast in Game 2 of the Eastern Division Championship Series. If Baltimore holds on to win this game, we get a 15-minute break and then a 15-minute mini game to decide this series for the Eastern Division.
As you said before, Jack, that performance from Utica in Game 1 is becoming seemingly more and more important as this one ticks away.
Tony Donatelli, he finds the back of the net, no problem. Tough angle, he had a lot of mustard.
Yeah, exceptional finish from him, and he's done that time and time again throughout this season. A real tough angle, as you said, Jack, and he just puts it firmly into the corner, giving Coughlin not much chance at all. And if anything, you kind of feel that that's really put things in control and seemingly taken us into that 15-minute mini game as you just spoke about.
He is Richard Shaw. I'm Jack McMullen. And it was Tony Donatelli with his second on the day that gave Baltimore a 7-2 lead with 6 minutes to go in the game. At this point, if you're Ryan Hall, are you looking at the bench and saying, guys, sit down? Bo, Slav, Ben Raymond, sit down. We'll get this game to 3.
It's certainly something that I think becomes a real factor maybe in a minute or two. You know, you just, sometimes you never know. You've seen 3 or 4 goals scored.
Tavernisi was looking at that quickly, but no dice.
Yeah, I was going to say in quick succession, Tavernisi, who really usually finds the back of the net from those situations, just slightly off target. But you never know, maybe the nature of the rivalry this season was always going to take it to that 3rd and final game, whether it be a mini game or just a simple situation where these two teams battle again. I know one thing, this crowd will certainly be up for it.
Chance for Jareem Raley to play it up top. Hits off the top of the boards and catches a little bit of net. Under 5 minutes to go, it's a 5-goal game.
Yeah, and we see Gonzaga coming in now as the 6th attacker, which lets you know that they're still looking to try and win this outright in this game too. Of course, that's what you always aim to do when it's still in your grasp. But as you said, maybe if we get down to 2 or 3 minutes left and that scoreline is the way it is, maybe you do just shut up shop in regards to game 2 and just focus on the mini game.
I mean, he's going to need to stay on for a long time. They're going to need to score a lot of goals if that's the case. Gonzaga's on. He will occupy the box with 4.5 to play in this 4th quarter.
Yeah, really, when you look at the important players in this game, there's really one guy you look at, and that's Hoxie, whose first half performance in general was just outstanding, and every opportunity he got, he was clinical and put the ball in the back of the net, creating this problem for Utica. And since that point, other than the 3rd quarter where Utica got it to a point where it was back within 3, it really has been pretty smooth sailing for Baltimore, and they've fully deserved to keep this lead and then extend it in the nature they have.
He was incredible in that first half. He net a hat trick, and those were his first 3 goals of the series. Was held scoreless in game 1. He did have an assist, though. With 4:09 to go, Lucio Gonzaga puts a strike on. What can Slav do? What can Freddie Mugin do? The answer has been nothing all day against William Vanzella. Lucio Gonzaga with a nice defensive stop.
Yeah, Vanzella has been outstanding in this game. And He was asked a lot of questions in game one. Many of the finishes came from set pieces in that match, and there wasn't much he could do about it. But everything that he's been asked to do today, he's done it well. And although Utica are knocking this ball around, looking to find half a yard, you can kind of feel a bit of movement in the crowd, where it's almost been accepted that there is going to be this mini game, and they'll certainly get themselves ready. And the youngsters who are here in attendance will be looking at a little later night than maybe one would have hoped for them and their parents.
It's past their bedtime. I mean, what time is it right now? 8:35. If this game ends at 45, then we have a mini game starting at 9. And be sure to stay with us, because it will take a look at the highlights of this game too. We'll recap, we'll talk shop, we'll talk about your kids that may be going to bed. I don't know. We'll do a lot of stuff between those two games, but that mini game is going to be really enticing. So make sure you stay with us on the 11 Sports Network.
Well, I know one thing, Jack. I reckon my kids are in bed now, a little too young to understand the magnitude of this situation here in Utica that's unfolding. But one thing that we can be sure of is that mini game is going to be very exciting, because it's going to be short, fast. Everything will need to be sharp. Both teams will have to give it absolutely everything, because it could be their last involvement for the 2018-19 MSL season. And both franchises desperate to make it to that semi-final, where they will face the Milwaukee Wave, who have been an outstanding team this season. And they'll certainly be looking very closely at this match. I'm sure they'll be tuned in right now, just waiting to see who they're going to be playing.
We saw Milwaukee come up to Utica. That was on January 6th. It was a 7-4 loss to the Wave. That was an incredible team.
Yeah, the Wave with some exceptional talent. You know, looking at the plays of the week and putting that together, I've seen the likes of Bennett week after week just putting the ball in the back of the net with lots of conviction and technical ability. But like I said, anyone watching this game now from the Waves' perspective will probably be looking at both teams and thinking, well, they're kind of very equally matched, so either way. I mean, you know, you've got Baltimore, who've got more experience and have been to this type of situation many, many times.
5 in a row before this.
And then Utica, who have certainly put some outstanding performances together this season to put themselves in this position, and to beat Baltimore again in Baltimore shows you their ability. But they just haven't got things right in this game too, we have to be honest. And they're now going to be looking to get things right in the mini game.
Slavico Peripovic, that looked like he could have bounced in. No goal call. Fascinating. That's where you need the VAR, right?
Instinctively, it looked like that ball went over the line.
Yes.
Maybe we'll get another look at it here, but Ubi Parapovic certainly looked at the referees and officials to say, hey, that ball's over the line. Are they calling it back? Yes, they are. Here's the technology you were requesting, Jack. And if I was a gambling man, I would say it's going to be in, but we'll see.
Let's go to the monitor.
It is treated as if it was a new game. The fouls reset. We played 15 minutes of game time. Should the game remain tied at the end of that 15 minutes, we continue to play 10-minute periods of golden goals. The winner at the end of the mini game will be crowned the divisional champion. 2019 Kentucky Derby. Make your reservations on Open Table to receive a commemorative Derby Cup. Enjoy Mint June specials while you watch the most exciting 2 minutes in sports on our 160-inch LED video wall. Spots are limited, so reserve yours today. Want a piece of Utica City FC history? Then stick around after tonight's game for a post-game jersey auction. We will offer live auction of the full roster of black Utica City FC jerseys to the highest bidder. Get your jersey signed and take a picture with your player on the field. Interested bidders must head to the beer garden immediately following the conclusion of tonight's game. Fans, if you take a look at the boards, you'll see more of our fans of the year. The Shoreline Group of Wells Fargo Advisors is proud to sponsor Utica City FC. Our team of advisors are here to help you succeed. Whether your plans are for the short-term investment or to plan all the way to retirement, Wells Fargo is here to help guide you to achieve your goals.
Back in the yard, and Baltimore took game 2, 7-3 over Utica City FC. Jack McMullen and Richard Shaw back with you to recap just a little bit of game 2. Richard, it was all Baltimore.
Well, first of all, you look at both games. You look at game 1, you look at game 2. I think both teams did some good things in each game, and both teams made some mistakes. Today in this one, Baltimore just was a little more clinical, Jack, in the final third. And again, I'll go back to what we said earlier with Hoxie and his ability to put the ball in the back of the net when it mattered. That really gave them a great foundation to build on, and they did it well, and they really demonstrated their experience from being in. I mean, again, these guys, Baltimore Blast, are the 3-time back-to-back champions. 3 seasons coming into this one. They won it. They won it. They won it. They know how to win. So to go to Baltimore and win was exceptional. To come here and, you know, let's be honest, it was disappointing.
Yeah.
Speaking to Ryan Hall there, you could see it on his face. He was disappointed.
He wanted that win badly.
Yes, he wanted to do it in normal time. But you know what? Again, strip it back. Go back to the summer. Can we be in this situation that would snatch your hands off? A mini game to win it, to go into the semifinals and face the Wave on Sunday.
It's a chance to buy a ticket to the Eastern Conference Championship Series against the Milwaukee Wave. And oh my goodness, this is going to be incredible. The odd is staying hyped right now for game 3. You do not want to miss this 15-minute mini game between the Baltimore Blast and Utica City FC right here on 11 Sports.
And one hopes that the fans get what they want. That's all I will say on the matter. And just looking at the energy and the excitement of all these people here in tonight, and it's great to see some Baltimore fans who have made the trip also. That's what it's about, supporting your team, enjoying the sport, and the MASL has certainly proven to be very exciting so far this season, and long may it continue in the city of Utica.
Interesting of note, no Mauricio Salas in the starting fixture or on the bench for Ryan Hall's Utica City FC side. Salas, 5 goals total in the first 2 games. Bojelovic's trying to track down Adriano Dos Santos. William Vanzella with a clean touchback. Wow, these mini games are exciting because you're just going to be on the tip of your seat every single minute. Jerame Raley puts it on Cage. Batted away by the Utica defense. Dos Santos, playback. Now here we go. Pereira knocked away by Slav.
Great block from Ubi Parapovic. And Jack, I'm certain that whoever strikes first in a mini game is surely going to have a massive advantage. And it's very important that Utica stay switched on here. And you need guys like Ubi Parapovic throwing the bodies on the line, blocking shots, and everyone and every player coming onto this field just going to have to work incredibly hard for their team for the next 13 minutes and 40 seconds.
Do you think this feels like a fifth quarter, or is it just a new game starting all over again?
I've got to be honest, it just feels refreshed. It feels like a new game. I think it was disappointment from a Utica perspective, and now that kind of the lights have gone off and come back on and these fans have kind of been rejuvenated, it certainly appears that no one's left, and I don't think they were ever going to leave. Like we talked about, whether it's a school night tomorrow, everyone stayed in their seats, and hopefully at the end of this 13 minutes everyone will be out of them and on their chairs and standing up in ovation for the city of Utica and their football team.
Bordeaux play back to Coughlin. And now here goes Mohamed Kenaway. What can Mo Kenaway do? Denied. Daru with the outside of his foot. Bordeaux tracks it down in the corner. Stephen Daru and Andrew Hoxie fight hard. Daru spinning off. Now a chance for Mo Kenaway. Freddie Mugin turning around. Oh, he tried with the heel. Kenaway across goal. Nothing. How loud can this place get, Richard Shaw?
Jack, I'm so immersed in it, it's hard to talk. But Mugin there with exceptional skill.
Freddie Mugin hard up Vanzella's gloves. Rarely intercepted Kenaway. Daru can he get to it? Schindler with the head, plays it back. Callahan, can he save it from the boards? No, he cannot. It goes into the Baltimore bench. It'll be blast ball with 11:57 to go in this minigame.
It feels like the last round between Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed. But these fans are fully in support of their team, and Kenaway, what an introduction for him.
They're calling for a hand. It doesn't necessarily matter because Jake Schindler has feet on it. Coughlin forward, nudged away with the noggin of Gonzaga. What can Lucio do?
Great start from Utica here. They're in control right now, and the fans are loving it. They just got to keep the pressure on and keep working hard, being honest. Nothing to be in fear of now, just go for it.
Here's Darren Toby. Bo backing down Dos Santos. Stephen Daru at separation. What can he do? Daru with the nifty moves. Darren Toby, he was a little bit gun shy, didn't get to it. Bordeaux helps him out in the corner. And that's almost like a dead ball.
Yeah, good decision from Toby there. He knew he wasn't going to win the ball, so he just stood firm, not letting the ball out the corner, and it's a good position to have a drop ball from Utica's perspective, and now they come out of it again, and they've had all the pressure.
Kinyelovic's turn. Bojelovic with the right, chip shot in! Makes it 1-0.
Wonderful play from him. Outstanding hold-up play, incredible strength. and you kind of thought he'd lost his balance for a second and the ball had got away from him, but he managed to get it on goal, and that's all he needed to do. And what a response from everyone inside the Ord. And that pressure from Utica pays off. Can they now push on? They've got to keep the intensity up, and Baltimore have got to come back with a quick reply.
Who else?
This is where the balance of intensity and composure really comes into it, Jack. Obviously, starting so well, 5 minutes of excellent pressure from Utica pays dividends with Yelovich finding the back of the net. But now you've got to stay composed, but you've got to keep the intensity up as well, and that's why it really is a balance, and getting that key is certainly going to be what's pivotal to the result here.
We didn't see much of Mohamed Kenaway at all in Game 2. Game 3, he's made an immediate impact, and he was the guy that found Bo Yelovich.
Yeah, he was going forward with pace, but Baltimore there unlucky not to tie it up.
Dos Santos with a bad touch on it. Utica ball, 9:09. Nifty moves from Andrew Coughlin. And now you got two against the boards. Gonzaga, he's up clean. He's calling for a foul. Thank goodness he's okay. Freddie Mugin, he waited for it. It wasn't going to get to him.
Yeah, great work from Daru to win the ball, but you just kind of feel he should have gone longer with that clearance and just clip it into the corner using the boards. But they win possession back and they move forward again.
Gonzaga to Bordeaux, off board, no. Back to Coughlin, you reset. That was an exhale.
Keep breathing, Jack, keep breathing, son.
You keep breathing, come on.
Yeah, you're right, I need to. But I tell you what, these fans really putting in a great performance of their own right now. And you can see it just absolutely inspiring these players.
Freddie Mugin, a roller to Van Zella. This is unlike anything we've heard the odd for a UCFC game. Rolling and a foul on Jamie Thomas. Ubi Paripovic slow to get up. He looks okay.
Again, both players going down in the corner. Not an easy situation for the official by any means, but you feel that it was the right decision because of the nature of how Ubi Paripovic went down with the pressure coming in. But talk about composure in a situation like this. Coughlin dropping his shoulder and going around one of the Baltimore's players out of his box.
Ubi Paripovic high. Halfway home in this mini game, Utica City FC leads 1-0 on a Bo Yelovich strike. Yelovich, his first goal of the postseason. Having a pretty good time. Juan Pereira darting in. Njai, the boards shaking and rattling. Pereira's down hard.
Yelovich working hard in the corner. I've got to be honest and say I looked away from the play because the ball went into the box area and I wasn't quite sure what happened. Either way, it's a difficult situation for Utica to deal with now.
Sam Guernsey, no. Off Kenaway's feet, settles back with Njai, and Vanzello re-kicks. 7:10 on the clock. Pereira feet over Unatis Mello, guarded tightly by Yelovitz. What can he do? Sam Guernsey now straight away. Over to Vincius Dantas in the corner. Two very thick guys. Schindler, Dantas fight. Dantas wins. Now Donatelli resets. Vincius Dantas in the near corner. Kicks off Coughlin, and Bordeaux skies it away from danger.
Baltimore really going to be looking at utilizing their experience now. They won't be pushing any panic buttons, not yet, that's for sure. But with every decision that goes Utica's way, every clearance from their own defensive third, the place just erupts, and it really is becoming a hostile environment for Baltimore. And that's certainly going to favor Utica and their ability to keep this lead and potentially add to it with just over 6 minutes to go in the game.
Coughlin into the corner. Freddie Mugin fighting for it. Vanzella grabs it because he can use his hands. Under 6 minutes in Game 3 of the Eastern Division Championship Series. This series is tied at 1 game apiece. Utica took Game 1 in Baltimore 12-9. And then the Blast stole one from City 7-3 in the yard just moments ago. Jamie Thomas with the left hook. He finishes. We're tied at 1.
Excellent play from Baltimore, who have knocked the ball around patiently over the last couple of minutes. And it's Hoxie again on the evening of what is potentially one of his most productive and important games. He comes into this mini game and produces again.
We said who else after the bowl goal? Who else for the Baltimore goal besides Andrew Hoxie?
Yeah, he's had a really good evening, and just having that knack of being in the right place on those moments, especially when the ball flashes against the face of goal. But it was never going to be easy for either side, and it was probably going to go down to the wire, and now it is. I mean, you're talking about 5 minutes potentially of a season left for one of these two teams, and it's just going to be a question of who can keep things together and be clinical when they get that chance.
Into the corner, Bo Yelovitz. He manufactured from there his first time, but he plays it back in an no-man's land. Gonzaga getting there. Njai sprinting it down. Coughlin finishing the clear away from danger. Schindler up to Daru, intercepted by Thomas. What can Daru do in the corner? Back to Gonzaga. He resets. Unatis Mello pacing him down. Back to Schindler. Bo again, what can he do? He was dragged down. Vitale with the left. It was knocked away on the doorstep. Now Jamie Thomas running, trying to find a streaking Unatis Mello who can get to it first, and it was Darren Toby.
Excellent composure defensively there from Utica as they mount another attack.
To Callahan, what can he do? Vanzella there. Players jawing at each other right now with under 4 minutes to go in Game 3. If we end this 15-minute minigame deadlocked at 1, then we hit sudden death overtime. 10-minute periods until we get a winner. There are no shootouts. Intercepted by Darren Toby. What can he do? 3:45 to go in this game. Mujin couldn't get it through. Drew works again with a nice foot skills.
Utica have kept their composure since giving up that equalizing goal, which is a great sign for them because they've certainly got the capable players out there right now to go and take another lead.
Steven DeRue right on net. Vanzella, no problem with that. And Vanzella calls timeout. 2:49 to decide this game. Jack McMullen and Richard Shaw. You see the beer garden filled up with white. You see the stands filled up with white. It's like a snowstorm. I thought we were hitting good weather here, were we not? Like my drive in, I had sunglasses on. It was nice. For sure not going to have sunglasses on right now. We just hit 9:19 on the clock.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like with the weather it was a case of indoor activity coming to an end, but thousands of people beg to differ, and they filled the Ord up today with amazing support. And we have to be honest, when you look at the regular season records of these two teams, you look at the back and forth, Jack.
It makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Was it ever going to end any other way? I don't think so. And it's been terribly exciting. And now Utica have got 2 minutes and 49 seconds of this regular time in this mini game to go and win it and put themselves in a position to go and play the Milwaukee Wave on Sunday.
Listen, win or lose in today's game, and this has been one heck of an inaugural season for Utica City FC and the fan support here in Utica, New York. William Vanzella triggers from his own box. Oxy and Toby jump, and a souvenir for the fans. They got to give it back. That is that Mitre Astro Division ball.
Good battle in the corner from Callahan. Donatelli has been outstanding this evening. And Hoxie has spent large portions of this mini game on the field because they know how important he's been. And that could be an important mistake as the ball is played diagonally and Utica can pick it up and get possession again.
Two minutes to go in this mini game. Sloppy play gives it back to the Baltimore Blast. What can Yonatas Mello ignite for the team down in Maryland?
You just feel, Jack, there's going to be one more decent chance for one of these teams here, and it's just going to be a case of who can take it.
Feed over the middle. Dos Santos finds the back of the net with 93 seconds left. Utica City's season is on the brink of a finish.
It was excellent play again from Baltimore, who worked the ball up nicely, and Dos Santos was never making any mistake there. Just took the ball away. But now it's kitchen sink time, Jack. And Ryan Hall has got to inspire these players to just go after it with the 6 attacker. You can see Gonzaga's already got the jersey on.
Ryan Hall just pulled it over Gonzaga himself. He said, get that thing on. You know you're going in there.
But after an exceptional start from Utica, the Blast again using their experience, keeping their heads, keeping their composure. They were able to find that equalizer and then really get a grip of things. And now they're pushing forward, looking to try and keep this lead. But Utica have got 93 seconds, as you say, Jack, to do something about it. And if we've seen time and time again what they're capable of, and you look at moments where they were playing Baltimore in Baltimore, playing Mississauga away, they did some deep thinking, deep processes to come back into those games, and now they're going to have to dig deeper than they've dug all season.
Minute 33 to go in this game. The 5 on the field for Utica City FC, well, the 6 now. As Andrew Coughlin is out, it's Lucio Gonzaga, Slaviso, Ubi Paripovic, Bo Yelovitz, Joey Tavernisi, Freddie Mugin, Darren Toby. What can those 6 do? Tony Donatelli plays it back. Ionatis Mello, they're trailing. Lucio Gonzaga's got to get it out of danger. There's 2 Blast players back there with them. Slav, hard on. Toby with the rebound, just high. Back to Lucio under a minute. Ubi Paripovic, good defense from Adriano Dos Santos. Under 50 seconds. Bo Yelovitz off boards. Interesting pass. Timeout, Will Van Zella in Baltimore. What are you doing there if you're Bo Yelovitz? What was going through his mind when he was trying to develop something?
Well, he knew there was bodies in the box, and to be fair, it was a decent idea. Could you argue it might be more beneficial or play the percentage of just keeping it? Yeah, you could say that, but I'll tell you something. If the ball hits the boards and it falls kindly for Ubi Paripovic or Tavernisi or Mugin and it goes in the back of the net, then all of a sudden it's an amazing play. So you can't knock him for it, and it wasn't a bad option at all. But there's still time. They've just got to keep working, and even with just 29 seconds on the clock, all it takes is one opportunity to get it back on level terms.
Under 30 seconds. Baltimore leads Utica City FC 2-1 in Game 3. This is the minigame following a 7-3 win for Baltimore in Game 2 of the Eastern Division Championship Series.
Utica have got to high press now. You'll see them forcing the long throw, the long delivery, hoping they can win that ball. The second ball, great header from Toby.
Fantastic.
And this will give Utica one last chance to attack here with numbers.
Ubi Paripovic with the left, Vanzella with a dive, a gorgeous save from him. He heaves it to the heavens. Gonzaga resets, they have 10 to get it on. Darren Toby into the middle, headed away from danger. 3 seconds, Gonzaga's got to put it on high in the sky. Drops down with .2.
I think there'll be a little review of when that time stopped. Maybe adding a second on or so, just one chance to fizz the ball into the box.
People are starting to make their way for the exits. They put 1 second back on the clock. Lucio Gonzaga has it at midfield. And the Baltimore Blast have won the Eastern Division. They have secured a day with Milwaukee. And Utica City's season ends at the yacht.
It's a cruel way for Utica to lose. They did a lot of work in the first 5 minutes that put them in a